Nobody can hear us, right? Nobody can hear us through this stuff. This is the time we're not supposed to talk, right?
What? Should we stop talking right now?
I don't think we're supposed to talk right now.
Do you like my mustache I'm growing?
It's right. It's a beautiful mustache. Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 542, recorded on August 28th, 2025. On this week's episode, all four dads are here, and we are going to touch every single topic in this episode. We're going to talk about news, we're going to talk about rumors, we're going to discuss stuff, we're going to have a timeout, we're going to talk about what we've been playing, we're going to address community questions. We've got everything packed in this show. Jesse, you know what to do.
What is up, everybody? It's Marty here, and I am surrounded, well, not really, but internet surrounded by the finest gentlemen that would sit down and do a podcast on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central Time and talk about Nintendo, that were also dads. Yeah. It's episode 5, not 4, 542
Nintendo Dads!
of
Woo!
Nintendo Dads. August 28th, 2025. And as I've already alluded to, joining me on the show this week, and as Tim has already clued us into, the full cast of characters. And I'm excited. Guys, I am not recovering from oral surgery this week. I'm still recovering, but it's not like it didn't happen 3 hours before that. So I feel a lot better. It's been a good week. There's a new Kirby game, which means that the Switch 2 is doomed. It's over, because we all know that Nintendo puts out a Kirby game when it's time for the system to die. And Tim, I have to say that in the intro, when you said all that we were going to touch, I didn't know where you were going. But I'm glad that you went where you did. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Doing really good. I'm off of work tomorrow. I got a few days off for Labor Day, taking care of some things around the house, playing some games, and everything else in between. So
be sure that on Monday you say today birthday is Labor Day.
Today birthday is Labor Day.
And if you know where that's from, you're officially cool.
How are you doing, Marty?
I'm doing good. I told you. No pain. We're good. It's been a great week. I've actually gotten time to play video games this week. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. There's the lingering possibility that there's yet another Nintendo Direct of some kind on the horizon. I'm hopeful. I'm excited. We're good to go. Jesse, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's been kind of a longer week for me. It seems like I've had last 2 days I've had full day offsite meetings with people who came in from out of town. So So we got a lot done. Kind of glad those are done. Tomorrow will be a normal day of work, and then I will have Monday off of work. And then this Saturday I'll be going to the house and getting more things set up there.
Wonderful.
So, keeping myself busy.
Also joining us from the Great White North, Mr. Justin Masson with his fancy glasses.
Hey guys, can you guys see me? Are you able to see and hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Is this working? I don't. Okay. Good. Hi guys. What's cracking?
Wait, I gotta adjust something here, right here.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Go pick my nose.
I got.
It's like he's never recorded a podcast before in his life.
It's like a WarioWare game.
Do you like my mustache I got going on?
I'm not gonna lie. No, I don't.
It's pretty sweet, isn't it? Right? Like it feels.
No.
It feels like I might really get into like World War II.
I will be impressed if
history.
it's Tom Selleck.
I need you if you're okay. So there's to me there's only one kind of There's only one kind of acceptable mustache, and it's the kind that you like wax and curl up on the ends.
It
You
might
know,
get
Mark?
that
and,
way.
and like twirl like a villain. If you grow that, we're good. But otherwise, I've always found mustaches to be creepy. Always.
I'll take that. I will take that to the bank and
Yeah.
back with a mustache like this. Hey, I'm here. I'm excited. Lots of content, lots of exciting Nintendo news. We're on the horizon of some exciting stuff, but I'm just stoked
Sure. I think so.
to be here with
Okay.
all of you.
Justin, this is
It is
not
so
this
good.
is not great.
Like
I-
just
This is
that's
not
a,
great
Dear
content.
listeners, I think you want to be
that-
glad you're
that
listening to the
is-
audio
That
version.
is,
Yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah.
that is.
See, we talked about it being
people would-
creepy, and now
people
you've dialed that up to 10.
People would pay
Yeah,
for that.
it's
If you want to follow us, we are open. We are officially opening up an Only Dads channel, and it's just a lot of me in short shorts and a mustache, maybe mowing the lawn, maybe frowning unconventionally,
watering your grass,
watering my grass,
shaking your fist at kids on your lawn.
maybe having one too many beverages and making poor decisions.
I think he's
know.
already done that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling like that's
Hi.
what's going on here
What are
tonight.
you?
And in the spirit of that, we're going to hurry things along here, and we're going to move on to the news. How about we do that? I think it's gonna I'm just gonna take an aside here, and I think we're gonna just hold a vote right now. 3 out of 4 dads are in favor of you don't get to record sitting on beanbags anymore. It's doing something to you.
David Baleka says, I think I might have to stop watching. Or pay more to keep watching.
Can someone get a hold of Jody, please?
Yeah, can we stage an intervention? Our news each and every week each and every week is brought to you by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And we want to say a huge thanks to all of our folks, friends of the show that are hopped in over there at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. For as $1 a month, you get access to all kinds of crazy content, including our Discord, which is finally curated, meaning we don't let you in unless you pay, because we kind of want to know you're on the team, and we very selective about the community over there.
We don't just let random weirdos in.
We just let them run the show
anytime we want.
$5 gets you the full sub channels, $10 pre and post show audio, and then $30 your Patreon producer. And we want to thank everybody at every level, whether you're doing that, whether you're in on Twitch Prime and you're getting in that way. The big benefit is you get an ad-free feed of the show. So when we do have ads, those are not included in there. And the random ads that pop up, halfway through that are context based for your location, they're not in there either. They're completely ad free. And so you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and get into that today.
Now, we are floating a new idea for Patreon level. I do want to put this out there. I know that perhaps my mustache and myself are a little bit much. So we are offering to our $200 a month subscribers a Justin free episode where literally Jesse just takes the content and just cuts me out of everything. So there's just like long gaps of nothing. And then so just the audio being cut out. So a Justin free version of the show for our $200 level patrons. That's available now. If that's important, you head over.
That's just
that's one.
That's one. That's David Baleka.
And by the way, if you just heard a big long gap there, that was Justin explaining that you just got this free
because you used your subscription. Good for you. Good for you.
Anyway, if you're still interested in any of this, patreon.com/Nintendo Dads
I don't know if I am.
where you go to support us, and we're very thankful for that. It lets us do things like go to cons, and it helps pay for games and podcasting equipment, and keeps the lights on over here at Nintendo Dads HQ, and we're really appreciative for each and every one of you. So let's talk headlines. I think the biggest headline that we really want to talk about this week is this claim from Digital Foundry, who has said that there are still, quote, many devs who have not received Nintendo Switch 2 dev kits. This was kind of something that came out of Gamescom. In the aftermath of Gamescom, it says that they spoke to a large number of developers, big and small, and the main thing on their mind was the lack of development kits for Nintendo Switch 2. Apparently, these have been distributed randomly with some small developers and some AAA developers not even getting theirs yet. And that kind of corroborates or comes alongside another article that came out during this week that basically said Nintendo is asking people or asking developers to publish on Switch 1 and then offer Switch 2 upgrades later on. Justin, I know we say some things are softballs for you, but I really feel like this is this has an inside curve of business talk as well.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, just my personal commentary on this beforehand is that it does seem like there's a little bit of smoke to this because there's been not a huge rush of games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of games that you would go, why did they would put that on Switch 2 and it's not there.
Yeah.
Or the hubbub over Elden Ring and how it ran at Gamescom,
Mm-hmm.
which then we come to find out wasn't as bad as people really said it was. So I would love. I'm
No,
going to
it
throw
was
it to
bad.
you first.
No, it
What?
was bad. Kit and Krista did a video talking
Oh,
about their
really?
experience with it,
Yeah.
along with everybody in the room, looking at each other like, "What is this?" No matter if it was handheld or on the TV.
They weren't allowed to capture footage at all either.
Yeah.
Which is never
Interestingly,
never a good sign.
because I've seen
yeah.
some tweets with footage that was captured of it that actually looked halfway decent.
Interesting. Okay.
Which
Yeah, I think-
now that was not official captured foot, like it wasn't like system to video. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't.
Yeah, it was
recording
over the
actual
shoulder.
video. It was over the
Yeah.
shoulder video, but it looked to me it looked
all right.
fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So I think going back to your
let's go to you first.
yeah, to go to your initial question there, Marty, dev kits, right? I mean, this is sort of the tale of the tape that we've heard for the last several months, right? Which is publishers did not get them. Now, I don't know if it is a lack of dev kits available, right? If they just have a shortage of systems accessible to hand out. I don't know if Nintendo is being very controlling regarding how many they issue. Now, and again, I think, could Nintendo be sort of saying, we are rolling out dev kits in waves to different publishers at different times to ensure that we are not creating this like avalanche of content onto the system in the first 1 or 2 years, just to kind of trying to catch up and play, get as many games out there as we can, and we need more of a sustainable model. So I mean, that could be something to consider. I mean, ultimately, if you're a developer, you want your games out there as quickly as possible. I think Nintendo's comment, again, if we've heard some developers and publishers say that Nintendo's encouraging them to put on the Switch 1. I mean, I think they're acutely aware they still have a huge install base for it, right? And so they still you got 155 million Nintendo Switches out there, Nintendo Switch 1s. You've got 7,000 or 7 million Switch 2s out there, whatever the number is. Ultimately, your install base in the original Switch is higher than your Switch 2. So potential profitable margins are higher on Switch 1 than it is Switch 2. We as capital G gamers want our Switch 2 content right away. We want it flooded. We want all the third-party games. We want everything available to us. We also have to recognize that when we talk about games being ported, an organization or a company, a publisher probably has a list of games they want to bring over, but they don't know if they can actually do it effectively. And it's not just a quick snap of the fingers, right, to be able to do it. And I think other publishers may be cautiously looking at some of the results regarding key cards versus all on cartridge, right? I think the one that stands out the most for me is sort of the scratch my head, how it is someone like Xbox, right? How have we not heard from Xbox? And I think the response that they've said is essentially we don't have kits yet. right? But then again, you look at some of the other publishers. You obviously know Square has it, right? It's a good relationship with Nintendo. They've got games coming through. CD Projekt Red, right? Capcom. Some of the big, obviously, Star Wars next week is EA, right? Ubisoft. Or no, that's Ubisoft. I apologize. Ubisoft. EA has just put out Apex. So we are seeing. We are seeing a fair bit of ports come over of games, but I do think there are some. There are some that have not been able to do it yet and are just being encouraged to put their games on Switch One. And so we'll see what happens. But I also wouldn't be shocked again if Nintendo is sort of being very like controlling in some ways in regards to how many are sent out. Again, remember, you got to think back to like the 80s when after the video game crash, when Nintendo was actually like limiting the amount of games a publisher could put out on the NES so as not to flood the market with too many games that would be of poor quality, which would then diminish the overall brand of Nintendo and the console, therefore reducing sales, potentially having another video game crash. Not saying that's what they're doing, but what I'm saying is that Nintendo historically has sort of been cautious of oversaturation, overflooding a market that may inevitably have challenges for their own brand as well. So
I would say that in that case, then that they can make that decision. I mean, like if it's me and I've got two dev kits, I'm gonna give the dev kit to Xbox and not give it to the people who keep putting knights and guns on the eShop over and over and over and over.
sure.
They can wait, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that just baffles me about this whole issue, I guess, is knowing the fact that Switch 2 was delayed, that it was supposedly it's done, and they moved it back, right? That was the big rumor for a while. It's like it could have released here, but it's been pushed back to bump up units available. Why did developers not have dev kits back then?
Well,
Why have they
I mean,
not bridged that gap between now? To me, this just feels like a really dumb move.
well, I would say I think the argument to that, and I want to put some context around that is there are a lot of developers that do have dev kits, just not all the developers have the dev kits,
But
right?
when you're right, but and I'm going to push back on that and saying that like their report is that 2/3 of devs don't have dev kits. Like
I would be
2/3 of the devs that they interviewed or whatever don't have developer kits yet.
Yeah, I'd be curious as to what does that actually look like in regards to like, are they small indie developers? Are they large scale firms? What's the relationship, right? Is it like here is our Knights and Guns game, by the way, and I don't have it yet. Well, are we prioritizing giving one to you? Or are we prioritizing giving one to, the creators of Shovel Knight or Hollow Knight or right? Like where are we prioritizing who gets what, I think is the ultimate question. The question I would have, and maybe Jesse, this is a tech question for you. What's the difference between a standard unit and a dev unit? Like could they just not go and buy Nintendo Switch 2s, basically open them up and try and figure out how to build or use those as units to develop on? Or is it a specifically different platform?
They're generally a different platform, normally not the same handheld form factor. They'll probably look more like small PCs. But they'll basically not have the security that a normal system would have that prevents you from running unsigned software. So that's so you can make your own software. That's why homebrews developers want to mod their hardware so they can run unsigned code on their systems. Right. Of course, and not that I'm advocating for that either way at this point, but generally, I would imagine they probably have small PC size things that may have a Wii U gamepad like mock-up to simulate playing it handheld, and then you'd simulate playing it docked just by attaching a monitor to the thing, and a normal controller. That's kind of what I'm imagining. I have no idea what these things look like.
Yeah, I think Nintendo probably still very much wants publishers to
Yeah.
still help them fill out their library for Switch 1 games, especially being backwards compatible. So as opposed to, again, you go to profit margins, instead of just aiming for 7 million install units, but you have 155 million, that's where you probably want to put your game.
So
right?
I want to build on that real quick because you mentioned it a few times. I wanted to say that there's possibility here that Nintendo is also trying to weigh, are you just trying to put it and say it's a Switch 2 game because it's the hot new console, or can it really work on the Switch 1 and you just get it out there like they're saying,
Yeah.
and put it on there, and then once we have enough dev kits, let's say it is limited, then you can get it so that you can do the upgrade option. So I think there's some, because we don't know, but we're guessing here. I'm guessing that it's possible that they have to pick and choose who's going to get it. Even that campfire game, hey, tell us what you're going to build. Okay, you're going to create something that's specifically for the Switch that uses the camera and the game share and all that fun stuff. Sure, here you go. Here's a dev kit or whatever they gave to them to do that. As opposed to someone who can do everything they're saying on the Switch 1 and then just tack on, say, the mouse controls or the camera.
Well, even I think of like, so we look at, and let's just use this as a great example. Hollow Knight Silk Song is coming out 1 week from now. That is on Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Playable on Nintendo Switch 2. Right? Like Shinobi just came out. That is a Nintendo Switch 1 game playable on Nintendo Switch 2. And again, let's go back to just the numbers. 155 million units versus 7. As a publisher, that gives me more hope, right? I have more which of these groups would you like to have your game? I would like the group that has the most people to have my game.
Well, and the devs are going to say, I want to be able to play with the new thing. So I want to be able to play that and develop towards that new thing so I can learn it. So that's why they're up in arms about trying to get their hands on it.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it is that Nintendo also wants to make sure they have a healthy pipeline for third-party games moving forward. Not just at the peak when the console comes out, not just the first year when everybody's flooding that market, but have really established a cadence of third-party games coming over as well. So I think those are, I don't know, that's kind of my thoughts around it as well. But there's a question about this as well, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, so
before you get to that question, sorry, there's one more thing I wanted to say earlier that I didn't get a chance to say, and that about the Xbox side. We have to remember Xbox is a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
So Nintendo may not want to send their handheld with hearing the rumors that Xbox is trying to do their own handheld.
Yeah, I think that's something to be acutely aware of as well. I think that's a great point, Tim.
As much as they want to have their stuff on there,
it's interesting because but I don't know if Nintendo sees them as a competitor. Nintendo doesn't see anyone as a competitor, right? That's sort of always been their statement, like whatever. And they do have they've had Xbox games that have come over before, and it's not a
they
big deal,
weren't
right?
a competitor when the Xbox was going after PlayStation, but now that Xbox was
with the Rogue Ally
announced even themselves that they were looking at a handheld.
Yeah, that's a good market. It's a good point, Tim. I'm not gonna say you crazy like that.
Yeah. Most of what I've heard so far about the Xbox handheld, the Rogue Ally Xbox, is it's just that with Xbox branding.
Yeah.
That it doesn't.
And what I've also heard is that that's not even Xbox's own handheld. That's just them working with a stopgap.
Third party, correct.
Yeah.
What does the Jiggly collector think?
They will try and fail. So I was going to throw this out here and be like, maybe this is a conspiracy theory. Maybe this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I think that wherever we see theories like this or things, maybe there's a little worm of truth to it. So the Jiggy collector, he asked this question, and I really would love to know your opinions on this. He says, do you think this is Nintendo noticing that game key cards aren't selling as well as physical and basically pointing at Switch 1 carts and saying, these will sell?
No, I don't think so. I think that the internet has made a very big, and capital G gamers have made a very big stink about that. I don't know if it is enough to drive business decisions.
Especially since a lot of the smaller games that developers want to make are going to be digital anyway. So
yeah.
the physical media is irrelevant.
I mean, honestly, your point that you made earlier, that if I'm a small 1-2 person developer and I've got a game that's brand new that's come out, maybe it's my first game, maybe it's my second game, I'm probably going to want to launch it on Switch right now. But I'm also going to want to be sure that the large, growing base of people with Switch 2 can play it as
Mhm.
well. And I think that to me is kind of like the alarm that's in the background that nobody's really noticing, is like, if these dev kits are from developers who do make solid games and they can't get a hold of them and they're trying to get things compatible or push an update that they would like to, that would boost their
Mhm.
sales, then that's a bad deal for them. Um,
Well, they said they were talking, the Digital Foundry talked to developers. What developers did they talk to? What are these games?
and that's a
And
great point.
yeah,
I mean, if you're going to come up and say, so let's go the other way with this. If you're going to say 2/3 of developers, or there's all these developers and AAA devs don't even have the dev kits. Okay, who's talking?
yeah, small
Yeah.
they said
And that's
small
know.
and large.
And that's
But
probably an
what
answer
game?
we'll never know of because of NDAs.
Yeah, nobody's bringing the receipts for that one, because then you're like, then I'm definitely not getting a development unit.
Well, I mean, they would go online. There's supposedly there's a portal or something somewhere, a form online where they can apply and they can purchase a dev kit. And, I was doing some digging as we were talking, and there's threads on Reddit where there's a guy who is like, I'm a developer. We've had a dev kit for 3 months. Like, we're a co-dev partner.
Yeah.
And he was kind of pushing back and saying, people can get these if they want them, and so I think
Well, it
that
also depends on what they have to fill out, and maybe that's what got him his thing.
ex-
Is
sure.
what are you telling Nintendo that you want to build and put on your on
Is
their
Nintendo
eShop?
asking you, okay, you can have this dev kit, but your game has to have
Right. Yeah. What
timed
questions are they
exclusivity
asking
on
in that
Switch
application?
2,
Yeah.
and then they go, whoa, well, we were going to launch everywhere. We don't want to do that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just think that, and my point I was going to make to kind of close this out is, I think that if I'm Digital Foundry, that I maybe they want to be careful how they play this so that they don't end up getting ginkied,
Mm.
right? Like, and what I mean by that is, like, Genki was sitting in a great little bubble, a little slot prior to Nintendo Switch 2 launch, and then they shot themselves in the foot. And now they're like, yeah, we don't, we have to go out and basically buy a Switch
Well,
2. We can't get one
they shot
because
themselves in the foot because they went on the black market and
I'm saying they shot
got
themselves in the
measurements.
foot.
Yeah.
There you go. But
Well,
here's the
well,
deal. Here's why
well,
we're talking about this. Go ahead, Jesse.
before we move on, I did want to going back to the dev kits. Yeah, dev kits will generally also have extra memory, 50% more, if not double, to allow for debug builds to run. So if the game crashes, the devs can look at the snapshot and actually get a listing of what this variable had this value, this variable had this value, to try to figure out why it crashed, things like that. That's half the reason why we got the N64 expansion pack, to double the memory from 4 megs to 8 megs, because the dev kit was an 8 meg machine. So it developed for 8
nice.
megs, but games wouldn't run on it unless they had the expansion pack.
That's a nice little bit of inside baseball there. I appreciate that.
Then
Uh,
then I wanted to kind of like a highly unlikely theory that I thought of is, if Nintendo is putting all their efforts into manufacturing consumer units, that they are not putting as much energy and time and space into making new dev kits that can then be distributed to future developers in the future.
But
So
hey, that's just a Jesse theory.
Right.
it is, but it does segue nicely into the next topic. Because here's the deal: even though dev kits may or may not be all that available, this is why we're talking about this. It's not affecting sales of the device as a whole. Nintendo Switch has now sold over 2 million units in the US alone, which puts it at 75% above the sales unit pace set by Nintendo Switch in the same time period after release. And so that's a pretty big number. Let's talk about that for just a minute. I think
I'm actually surprised that it just now getting to the 2 million mark, because there are how many more people in America versus Japan, and Japan sales are right up there too. Just so, so I expected the U.S. to have more than that, but still, it's
I guess
above
my
Switch
point
One
was
space.
that it took Switch One a while to get rolling. This feels like we hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Now,
The fun
going
part is to
back
figure
to
out what happens in the holidays.
yes,
That's going to be the fun
going
part.
back to that, I was going to say some people in this very host circle of podcasts predicted 15 million units in sales for Nintendo Switch by the end of December. I am not sure we're going to see that.
Yeah. Well, Nintendo's own prediction says that probably isn't going to happen either. Their prediction is 15 million up to the fiscal year.
When we made those predictions as well, we didn't have tariffs to think
I
about.
was going to say, yeah, tariffs threw a major monkey wrench into that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that even with the tariffs, we're still seeing this pace of sales.
Yeah. Well, of course, Nintendo's doing everything they can to keep that Switch 2 price down by increasing the price of everything else around it. But still, the Switch 2 price hasn't gone up since its original introduction.
Well, and there's a psychology of the consumer at that point, right? You have shrunken the gap between a normal Switch and a Switch 2 pricing.
Yeah, we talked about that last month.
Which is really easy for a consumer to go, oh, just $50 more? Oh, that's not horrible. And it's the latest and greatest. Oh,
Latest and
and
greatest,
they're
and I
like
can still play Switch
blah blah
One
blah blah.
stuff, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I know everyone was like, what are they doing? It wasn't about moving Switch 1 units. It was about ultimately moving Switch 2 units by adjusting the price.
Yeah, 100%. Also, the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games since launch. I don't know if you guys saw this. This was recent, just in the last like little bit this came out. All of those game are physical games, no game key cards, no digital games, all on cart. And so that is and that the newest addition to that list is Yuka Replayly, which isn't even out yet. So that kind of tells the tale there as well. And Cyberpunk is one of those. Cyberpunk says the CD Projekt Red says that 75% of their sales on Nintendo Switch 2, which I'm one of these, were physical carts.
Yep. Well, and I think that's a great example of, and we've talked about this before. I do believe, of all the consoles right now, Nintendo fans are the most who are the most advantageous, or sorry, the most focused in on physical. So when given that option between a physical full on cart versus a digital, I think for the most part fans will want that physical. I also think CD Projekt Red did quite well by having like, hey, here's an insert and here's stickers and here's a note. Like they created a little packet around that information as well to increase that value.
They did their
So
homework.
Have all
They
those extra
knew what the
add-ons.
Nintendo fans wanted. They like that stuff and like the extras that are in the package.
They knew the consumer.
Yeah. They did their research.
Very simply. Yeah. They did the research. They knew the consumer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm holding the Switch version of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, and I got this physical because it came with extra goodies inside.
Yep.
That if it didn't, I would have just got it digitally.
Yeah, I'm interested to sort of see, like, I know that there was some backlash against the key cards, and I don't disagree with it. I am interested to see what is going to happen for choices. So great example, Star Wars Outlaws comes out next week. I believe it says it's under 64 gigs, but I
did.
haven't
It
seen.
actually, there was
the-
an article that said that it was actually down to 18 something gigs now.
Yeah, it's gone
Really?
down. So
just
it
gonna look.
shrank from 20.6 gigabytes to 18.3 gigabytes.
So is that all on card? It should be. It should be at that point,
They
right?
should, yes.
Hmm.
Right.
Well, even
I-
when it was at 26, they could have put it on a cart.
yeah, and it's got all the DLC on it. So I have that pre-ordered, so we'll see
It
it arrive
did
next
say,
week.
though, since it's a Ubisoft title, there will undoubtedly be a day one update.
Yeah, probably. So
So, I mean, that you could definitely bank on that, right?
it will be interesting to see when you move over to stuff like Elden Ring, as you mentioned earlier, Marty, and then obviously Final Fantasy VII Integrate or the remake or whatever it is, right? Those are both scheduled still to come this year. We've heard that. We haven't heard the date moved on that. It's 2025. Winter. I thought it was winter 2025, wasn't it?
Square Enix said this week that Final Fantasy VII Integrate is going to be winter for Nintendo Switch 2.
Okay, so that moves then. That gives them the opportunity to
I'm
slide into
guaranteeing that's a January or February
first
game.
3 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Elden Ring.
Outlaws is a game card.
It's a game key card?
Yes.
Shut up.
At least that I'm looking at the GameStop's box art, and it's got the game key
There
card
you go.
banner on
I
the
was
bottom.
looking at the Amazon one and didn't have it on it. What the heck?
Well, they may have just been using placeholder graphic.
Maybe you're a placeholder graphic.
I am.
That's right.
I have a good
Amazon also
placeholder
shows the
graphic.
banner
Mother
Oh,
trucker.
on the one what I'm looking at.
Oh man.
Yep.
But you can get it for 11 cents off from
I want
Amazon.
to say that
It's $15.98.
I want to say
shit,
that
you're right.
Square Enix has already announced that Final Fantasy VII Remake will be a game key card as well.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I can't see them.
Why
being
must
able
you
to
make
put it on.
us? Why must you make Jesse work, Justin? Why must you make him work?
It's
Well,
his,
'cause if
it's his nature.
It's his job.
Well, let's move on and talk about a few other little news tidbits here. We don't have a whole lot this week, but a couple of things we want to bring to your attention. New features are now available for the SNES app on NSO. Button mapping for individual titles and mouse controls are now available for certain titles. You can customize your control scheme, meaning you can have a different button mapping for each game, much like the Nintendo 64 app had gotten previously. Mouse controls have also been added for certain titles. We already knew Mario Paint worked with mouse controls, but now Mario's Super Picross and Nobunaga's Ambition are all mouse control adaptable as well. And so I'm sure more games like that are coming. Personally, that gives me hope that we will eventually see the Super Nintendo port of Lemmings on Nintendo
Wow.
Switch Online. I would love that because it did work with the Nintendo Switch
Did it
mouse
work with the
back
mouse?
in the
Yeah,
day.
Okay.
Do we know who owns the rights to that, though? That's the problem.
Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
I went
And-
to when I heard the mouse thing was coming. I was hoping that SimCity had mouse controls, and it didn't.
It did not.
No, it didn't.
And I was like,
there
"Oh, I
is-
got so excited."
There
I was
is
like,
this
"Oh,
game
yes."
that I remember playing at a friend's house on the Super Nintendo with the mouse way back when, called Knights of the Round, which or Knight's Quest or something like that, which is like a strategy game. It's a 2D strategy game where you pull these units in onto the map and they march forward and fight. All I can remember is like he was fighting a boss and the music was Ride of the Valkyries and it just got stuck in my head and it looked super interesting. That's the obscure 16-bit stuff. That's the stuff I want on NSO. Is that
We just need
obscure
Super
stuff.
Scope support.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Also, in the news, Nintendo Alarmo will be getting 7 different alarms from Kirby and the Forgotten World. In the near future, this will include themes from Starcross World as well. And Nintendo says they'll share more on this in the future. And if you're still playing Tetris 99, this weekend is the 49th Maximus Cup in honor of the brand new update to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. You'll be able to claim 3 Kirby themes that you may not have been able to get in the past. The first of them starting on Friday with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That will go for 24 hours. then Kirby's Dream Buffet for the next 24 hours, and then Kirby's is that Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe?
Yes.
Yes. Kirby's Dreamland Deluxe for the last 24 hours. And those will be 20 points each instead of 100 points each. So if you've got some time this weekend,
the time cutoffs are at 12 o'clock midnight Pacific time, so 3 a.m. Eastern.
There you go.
Can we take a moment and talk about Alarmo?
Yeah,
if we must
do that, because you've got one.
Well, my daughter does. My Morgan, my youngest daughter, has an Alarmo, and I'm going to be honest with you. I was hoping that she wouldn't really want to use it, and I could just take it from her.
Okay.
And that hasn't happened, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not upset by it. I randomly go in and I update it for her, but she has set it to the Mario Kart. Or I've set it to her the Mario Kart, and so every hour on the hour, you get like Mario Kart sounds, like woohoo, and it will do the woohoo for the time it is. So like 11 of those at 11 o'clock, 12 at 12 o'clock. And it is like loud enough that I can actively hear it in my office. And it makes me smile, like just to be able to hear it all the way. It's a lot of fun. Alarmo, I think we all kind of shrugged about it and thought it was a crazy, silly idea. Expensive. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I'm going to be honest with you. It has provided a lot of entertainment and fun within my house, and I am really hoping that very soon Nintendo will update the options to include Donkey Kong Bonanza, and all we're going to be here is "Ooh, banana."
Oh, that would be awesome!
Banana.
Every hour,
banana.
I need to. I've been looking around for a clean version of that without the background music. I can't find it.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
We're probably not going to get that until someone maybe is able to mod the Switch 2 and data mine the
So can
files.
we just? I do, Justin. You bringing up Alarmo and the possibility of Switch 2 themes on Alarmo kind of brings a detour to my mind. All right.
Sure.
And here's where I'm at on this is that we now have 2 Nintendo Switch 2 games that have music on Nintendo Music, neither of which have the good soundtracks, the ones that are out. We have Kirby Air Riders,
I see.
and we have music from Kirby and the Forgotten Land from the Starcross World that's now on there. There's 91. They added 91 tracks of Kirby and the Forgotten Land music. Where in the crap is Mario Kart World soundtrack and Donkey Kong Bonanza soundtrack?
Yeah.
Where is it at? What are you doing? That is the perfect vehicle to promote your new game that's out.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong has now been out almost 2 months. There's not one track from it. Like those Bonanza songs, like they would rip on there.
They slap, as the kids say nowadays.
Did you I went and looked these up, and there are people who actually have them on their YouTube channels, and they're in the millions of views.
What are we doing wrong?
We're not pirating Nintendo's music. That's what we're not doing. I'm saying that what's the holdup on these 2 games? Because people have pretty much universally agreed the soundtracks on these 2 games are amazing. I would love to listen to these. Where are they? What the heck, Nintendo?
Do you guys actively use the music app?
Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
About once or twice a week I listen to it.
Wow, okay.
I do not.
Yeah.
I forget
it's
it
there,
exists.
and I like the ability to have it there, but I'm not actively man, I'm really getting into the flow of my work right now. I need a little bit of
2 out of 4 dads are using the Nintendo Music app.
Right? We approve. So,
I will say that it's not like a weekly thing, but I go through spurts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There'll be a song in my head and I'll go, oh, I wonder if that's on Nintendo Music. And then boom, there it is. And it'll scratch the brain itch.
Nice. I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, I would think that the marketing strategy on that would be let's let's coincide with the new release.
Yeah. I don't know, bud. I don't. Here's the thing. Very rarely, this is crazy. I'm going to hold this here. We can mark it down the history book. I don't disagree with Marty on that. Where is
Every now,
Donkey Kong
listen,
Bonanza
a
and
broken
Mario
clock
Kart
is
World?
right twice a day.
Very rarely. Like,
Yes.
but we agree on this point, Nintendo.
Yeah.
And so look what you've done. This is on you, Nintendo. This is on you.
What is the world coming
You've
to?
made Justin agree with me.
Thought we were cool.
Hey, one little more little news update here before we get into releases and things. High on Life has received a free Nintendo Switch 2 edition update as of tonight. It's free. Includes support for Joy-Con 2
So
mouse
there's a
controls.
company that got a dev unit.
Yep, there you go. So mouse controls, improved VFX quality, upgraded texture quality, higher frame rate, enhanced resolution, and up to 1080p resolution at 30 frames per second in the Nintendo Switch 2 dock. So
I think
that's
they said
out.
the High on Life 2 was coming to the Switch 2, wasn't it?
They possibly.
I know it was announced, Tim. I don't know if it was announced for Switch 2.
Okay.
So you can maybe check us
Yes.
check us on that one.
I don't think I added it to my list.
And High on Life 2, the original right now is $39.99 on Switch.
Yeah, there is a Switch. There is a sale right now.
So if you would like to play that, if you're, I mean, like for me, I got it on PlayStation 5 through the Plus games for the month.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably play it there if I play it at all. Other releases you need to know about today: Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Starcross World is out now.
Marty's going to talk about that later.
Yep, and we've got a video coming up on our channel. Is it out now?
It's already
Justin,
published. I published it.
It's already published. So
yeah.
what I did in that was I played for 30 minutes and I played through the very first Starcross World to finding all the little bits and bobs. So if you should
check it out.
Should give you a very good idea of whether or not you like that game or not. If you and here's the deal: if you like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, it's more of that. It's creative, and let me just say, it looks, it's so good. Anyway, one of the most visually
Kirby
creative.
and The Last of Us.
Yeah. Also, Shinobi. Speaking of games that look amazing, Shinobi: Art of Vengeance is out tomorrow on Switch.
Friday is such a week
for that.
We have not got a. I have been bugging.
You said so good. I just wondered.
I played the demo. The demo.
I did too.
You can download the demo right now. I have been bugging several PR reps for a code for this game. Hasn't arrived in the inbox yet, but I am all in. Like, listen, we don't get a code. I'm going to download it because this is such a great game from the demo I played. I'm excited to play.
Also, let me remind folks that if you are a fan of racing games and you do want to see another racing game on Nintendo Switch 2, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds has its open network test this weekend in the United States from August the 28th of 9 p.m. Pacific time. So that'll be 11 p.m. tonight through Monday at 11 p.m. And this is going to be I think you can download this open test for free on the eShop. And anybody can get in on this, and there will be a time period where Joker from Persona will be playable for 24 hours during this test. So if you're interested in that, there you go. I'm planning to at least dip in and check it out a little bit this weekend and see if it's any good. Also out very soon, Hollow Knight Silk Song will be out next week alongside Star Wars Outlaws on both of those on September 4th. And then September 5th, Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion will be out, and there's a demo for that right now as well on the eShop. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots will be out September 5th, and Lego Voyagers on September 15th.
And in case you didn't hear, I think we talked about last week or the week before, Demon School was announced to come out the same week as Hollow Knight, or I think the week after. They have since sent out a communication to the BR team and to the world and said, we are getting out of the way of Hollow Knight. And so they have moved their release date now into November. I know a lot of people were looking forward to Demon School. Our very own Tim as well here has been looking forward to it. So just as an FYI, some games that you might have been looking forward to around the beginning of September, and then Hollow Knight has now shown up.
Displace those.
Have displaced a fair. There's at least 5 or 6 games, indie games, that are like, we out, we're moving our date somewhere else. Demon School is definitely one of the high ones on there as well. Ubisoft doesn't seem to care, and that's fair enough. They are big enough and they have enough printed. But I do believe that, ladies and gentlemen, Hollow Knight is going to take a lot of oxygen for the next several weeks as we move into that space. The hype
there'll
is
be
real
somebody
for
who
that.
hasn't beat that weekend.
Lego Voyagers as well, just to let everybody know, is a 2-player co-op game that looks great.
Heard a lot of great things about that already.
Yes,
Saw some early reviews.
I'm excited to get to see that one. Rounding out September, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds actually releases on the 25th, and Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evil East Chronicles for Switch and Switch 2 September 30th. And also, I think Sonic Racing has a Switch 2 version that's out on September 25th as well. And it's possible that Metroid Prime 4 is still a September game, according to Justin, but they would definitely be talking about that.
I am losing faith in that. I think the fact that we do know Pokemon's date, which is middle of October. We now know Air Riders, which is middle of November.
Second Thursday of December, Metroid Prime 4. Put it on your calendar.
Merry Christmas.
Just like Smash. Just like Smash. Don't cover up my head.
No, I was like, I think I got a phone call that came in at the same time.
Who's calling?
By the way, High on Life 2 is not coming to the Switch as it says on the website right now, but it is curious that they did have a Switch 2 edition update for High on Life 1. So I'm going to guess that we'll get some sort of announcement on High on Life 2 coming to the Switch 2.
Also, I want to throw this out here as a last minute little news thing, because this just came across my wire, because it is an interesting segue of video games and wrestling that is happening on September 25th. No, September 25th. CMLL, which is a Mexican lucha libre promotion that works closely with AEW, is running a cross-branded CMLL and Pokemon wrestling show. They have already sold out all but 2 of the numbered seats in the arena, and they've already sold out the balcony as well. So CMLL is cross-promoting Pokemon Legends ZA at this wrestling show.
Because of Mega Hollow Lucha.
Yes, because of Hal Lucha. That was revealed today as well. Mega Hal Lucha coming to Pokemon Legends ZA. I think this is ridiculous and awesome, and I can't wait to see it, because I know for sure at some point during this show that ridiculous fat Pikachu costume that they put people in is getting drop kicked, and it's going to be chef's kiss awesome. I can't wait.
So there is a question from our community also that asks, thoughts on the new Mega Pokemon shown off so far: Pokemon Legends ZA, Dragonite, Victory Bell, and Howlucha. And if you guys want to look down in the notes, you'll see a picture of each. They want to know your thoughts on each of those. And I figured, Marty,
on these.
Marty, you and I are probably all about the Mega Halucha.
Yeah, I'm 1 for 3. Victory Bell looks ridiculous. Dragonite looks stupid. Halucha, that's my dude right there.
Yeah, that's my dude. I like that one too.
Yeah,
I like Dragonite.
I'd go.
Jesse, what about you?
Well, I'm in general not a fan of the gimmicks, because I like the older school mechanics more than the newer ones, but I do like how Lucia's look for its mega form.
Yeah, I like the Mega Dragonite, and I don't like the look of Victreebel, but its acid being able to melt steel is pretty intriguing.
It just looks like a sack. This looks like a loot sack.
We should move on quickly from here before
Yeah.
says anything.
Anyway, that's our news for the week.
Should we transition to Manscaped now?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of loot sacks, Justin's got an ad from our good friends over at Manscaped.
I actually don't. We don't have an ad this month. We come back in October.
In September.
But here's what I would say. If you call your underbits lewd sacks, make sure you use Manscaped and our promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping.
That's a good point. Is you can use the promo code even if we're not
regardless,
doing
you can for sure, and we'd recommend them. We all use them, and you should too.
And we're still trying to figure out if it's still 15% or actually 20%. So let us know.
check your loot sack. Okay.
Yeah. Put some things in your loot sack at manscaped.com and then check your loot sack. Yeah. So, hey, it's time to discuss.
Wait.
All right, guys. So let's discuss. We've had a question sitting in our inbox for a little while now from Mikey Burgett. And Ebucel has kind of backpacked off this. And so we're going to hit both of these at the same time. GameRant.com recently released a list, the most important Nintendo games in history. And so Mikey's question, and Ebucel in a way asked this as well. What would you say are the most important Nintendo games in history? Do you agree with this list from GameRant? And Ebucel adds to it and says, now that you've solved that, if it wasn't Popeye, why was it not Popeye? Popeye had to die so Donkey Kong could live. And so, just so everybody out there knows what we're talking about, the Game Rant list that's been published, and this is not in any kind of order, 1 through 10. Here are the games: Super Mario Brothers, NES, Donkey Kong Arcade, Super Metroid, SNES, Mario Kart 64, Nintendo 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Nintendo 64 version, Super Mario 64, obvious what system that's on, Pokemon Red and Blue for Game Boy, Wii Sports, Animal Crossing New Horizons for the Switch, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Wii U version and Nintendo Switch version. Do we agree with this list? Let's answer that. Let's take this question in parts. First question was, do we agree with the list?
Not 100%, no.
No. I'm with Tim.
There's a few games I probably would like to see not on this list, but I really can't think of anything good to replace them with either. So,
I would say I don't think it's. I don't know if I'm 100% aligned with it, but there are some definite that makes sense on there. There's some definite for sure alignment ones. Other ones maybe ish.
Right. Yep.
So I'm gonna say this. There's one. No, actually, here's where I'm gonna land on this. Actually, now that I've had time to think about it, as we have said here, I can't argue with this list. What I want to argue about is personal preference. What I can't argue about is impact. And each of these games, if you look at them, I think one could be argued. One. And I hate that it could be argued. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. But I think one could be argued. Other than that, all of these games, if you sit and think about them, all of them changed gaming. So, their legacy changed how people develop games and how we play games. Especially if you think about them in the time that they came out. And so it's not which games are more fun or which games do you like better, it's which are more important. And so look, I'll just say the game. I think Super Metroid could be argued. I love that game. but I don't know that it
one.
made. I don't know what I'm saying is I don't know that it made the same impact that all of these other games made.
It is known to be the reason why we have Metroidvania.
Mm.
So why wouldn't that be there? Between
I
that
don't
and
think that
Castlevania 4,
because well,
those
here's the
two
thing.
coming
I
on
don't
SNES are considered
see.
to
I
be
would argue that that's
Metroidvania.
not the reason that we have Metroidvania, because before that it was just Metroid. Why we have Metroidvania is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And that was when that whole concept really launched. Was everybody losing their crap over Symphony of the Night?
Right. So whether it was Symphony of the Night or Castlevania 4, Symphony of the Night, fine. It was still, yeah, you're right. Super Metroid was the one that defined Metroid. And then if it's Symphony of the Night, when that came out, then it was like Metroidvania. It added to the name. But it was Super Metroid that put it on the map.
I don't know that it's a fantastic game and it very well could have launched that, but I don't know that for Nintendo it made the same impact that Super Mario 64 made to gaming as a whole.
I'll have to disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I would probably actually sit in Tim's camp on this one. I think I'd keep Metroid on the list. The only one that I will argue that even if I was thinking of the Super Nintendo era that was sort of around that, the only one that I could see would maybe supersede that, believe it or not, it's not going to be my statement of Donkey Kong Country. Link to the Past would be sort of the only one that I could see that may supersede that. But I think you're dealing with two very different games. But when I think of the console, like when I think of the SNES. Now, this, by the way, this list isn't based on just the console generation. But when I think of the SNES, there are 4 core games that stand out in my brain. That is Super Metroid, Link to the Past, Donkey Kong Country, and Super Mario World. But I think in this scenario, I think Metroid, Super Metroid is the winner. I actually think on here 2 things. I don't know if I'd agree that Mario Kart 64 should be on here. And I don't know necessarily if I'd say Ocarina of Time or if I'd switch that out with Majora's Mask.
Oh, I would agree with Ocarina and on the list, but I do agree with you with Mario Kart 64. That's the one that I was iffy about. I don't remember that game adding anything of major significance other than a lot of bugs.
Yeah, the other one you'd have to check me on, and I know this is like published by Nintendo. Where does Tetris stand? Like the Game Boy Tetris?
Licensed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was. Well, no, I don't even think that was developed by Nintendo. I think that was It was published by Nintendo for Game Boy and
these have to be developed by Nintendo.
But I think
right?
these are games developed by Nintendo.
Yeah, and I would also say like I struggle with Super Mario Brothers because I instantly go to Super Mario Brothers 3 being the one I put on this list over that one. But the impact of Super Mario Brothers establishing like the platform of Nintendo from an impact perspective is tough.
So, okay. According to Wikipedia, the developer was Nintendo R&D 1.
Really?
So then I would replace Mario.
Did they go by a pseudonym? Because it looks that the credits had something else published.
I thought it was Elorg.
Yeah.
But this says that, anyway, I'm reading about it right now as we're actively talking. Here we go. He traveled to Moscow to speak with Ministry of Foreign Economic Relations Bureau for Computer Hardware and Software Export called Elektronorg Technica, or Elorg.
So I guess that's like the Russian licensing branch at the time?
I guess so. Yeah.
Before they made their own Tetris company?
Tim, can I ask you a question as a Metroid fan in regards to this list?
Mm-hmm.
Would you put Metroid Prime as more impactful than Super Metroid? Or keep Super Metroid? You think of the two, your Super Metroid is the most impactful? Yes. Again, I want to be clear. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just asking your opinion.
Yeah, no, I would not put for important Nintendo games in history, I would not put Prime over
Okay.
Super Metroid.
Okay, cool.
So here, with that in mind, I mean, I think I would take Mario Kart 64 out and put Tetris in its place for Game Boy.
Mhm.
And then I would take Super Metroid out and I would put the original Super Mario Kart, because that is the genesis of kart racing video games. And if Super Mario Kart for Super Nintendo had not succeeded and become such a blockbuster that it was, we wouldn't have had all of the successive games from that, and also other kart racing games like Sonic Cross Worlds,
I think the
all those
struggle with
things.
this list is that you can walk yourself back to the origin point of all of it.
Sure.
And say like, well, this is the first game in the series, so it is the origin. But I would argue that I think like from public adoption and from saturation and from sales metrics, I would argue that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the most impactful. Right? It's how are we defining impact? Because yeah, all of it you can walk back to being like, well, this is where it became this thing and starts this trajectory.
And the
And it
problem with that is that all of those most important categories are objective to the person who is,
correct.
or
Correct.
subjective to the
Yeah.
person who is making the list.
Yeah.
I think. Because like Tim, he's not going to move off of Super Metroid. I mean, and like the thing, like, it hurts me to say it, to take it off my list, but because I probably play it every 2 years, right? I mean, it's such a fantastic game, but impact wise for me, right? And I think that's the key for this list is it's impact for me. What's the most important Nintendo games for me?
Yeah.
And
Greatest.
I think that's in Game Rant's article. I think there's the what it's like that's the most important Nintendo games for them.
Yeah. Good question, Episol. Good debate here as
So
well.
do we make a list?
I think we've made our list. Like we've had
I
conversations
think
about back and forth and
yeah,
adjustments. Yeah.
absolutely.
I think we head into rumors.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Oh, that spooky rumor music. Here's what's not spooky. Rumor is there's another Nintendo Direct possibly coming September the 12th, or mid-September.
Or
Switch
late
Force,
September or early
whenever.
October.
Switch Force was the first one to kind of bring this up and say that they had heard of that date as a possible Nintendo Direct date. Others have kind of followed from there, with a few others kind of coming alongside and saying, hey, it's probably going to be mid September. But Switch Force also interestingly says that this is the quote unquote big one
Yeah.
that everybody has been talking about. And honestly, what do they have left? They've done a partner, they've done a Kirby Air Riders Direct, they've done an now it's time for them to spill the beans
about that Kirby Air Riders one. Wasn't that also before that was announced? Everybody was talking about, oh, there's a Nintendo Direct coming.
Yep.
I think Switch Force was one of those people. There's a Direct coming, and then all of a sudden we got the Kirby Air Riders one.
So maybe this is just a Metroid Prime one.
No, no, this will be a big one, and the reason is there's a couple things. I mean, here's the reality: they could separate and unbundle these things. We do know that September 13th is the 40th anniversary of Mario, and Nintendo has been beginning to, I think, get the wheels in motion regarding a Mario anniversary. So I don't doubt that we're going to be having it soon in early September. Yeah, so I think it's going to be fairly chunky. We do need to find out obviously some big dates. Obviously some big dates. And then I do think I wouldn't be too shocked to find out that we would have like I would anticipate we're going to have a Metroid Prime specific direct closer to launch. to begin that conversation as well. But yeah, I mean, Nintendo has traditionally had a Nintendo Direct in September. Now they have sort of last year moved away from sort of some of their traditional cadences that we've seen, but like this feels right. But they have cleaned the docket of a lot of things, so it'll be very interesting to see what they end up focusing in on, and what they end up sharing. But I think Metroid has to be. We have to know soon. They are still listing it as a 2025 game on their investor calls with their that they've done recently. So we need to know more.
100%. So we'll see. And I mean, that's really all we know to say is we'll see. Also, this is interesting to note. Yuka Replay could be shadow dropped at that direct. And here's why. There's a little bit of evidence for this as hawk-eyed fans of the game on the internet have discovered that the full download for Yuka Replay is already up on the Xbox arcade shop, whatever that's called now. It's up on Xbox. Xbox Live. You just can't buy it yet. It's like it's sitting there waiting on something.
Like release date.
Yeah. So who knows? I maybe want to check out. Those are our rumors. Let's take a quick timeout. Yeah, so we haven't had a timeout segment in a while, and I asked for this one. Talk a little parenting here. So I'll make it brief. Just a little backstory here. My son is 18. He turned 18 back in April. My daughter's 17. She turned 17 in June. Both of them are seniors this year. And the reason for that is that when my son was coming out of his ninth grade year, we held him back. And he did ninth grade twice. And it was just for lots of reasons. One of the biggest is that many years ago, he was, struggling, and we had him tested and evaluated, and we came up kind of on the autism spectrum. And he had a lot of anxiety. He had a lot of, he was very high functioning, but it was like sounds bothered him, food textures bothered him. There's some different things, and as he got older, like we kind of noticed that he was socially about 2 years behind where we thought maybe he would be, like other kids his age were. Today I would say that that's not really the case. I mean, he got a job when he turned 16, and that really helped. Like him working in the public and him having that responsibility just really, there was like a real rapid period of him kind of maturing and
It
developing.
kind of gets him forces him to talk to other people.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it wasn't just that.
I can say the same with my kid when he started working. That definitely helped him progress.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't so much that. I mean, it's like the responsibility of like getting himself up, and making sure he's presentable and all of that stuff. And so all that to say, that I am more than I would like to admit. And the reason I bring this up is because I've seen some dads in our Discord talking about their kids going to college, right? And like dropping them off. And I know that we're not really going to have that moment. Like he has decided that and both of my kids have decided they're going to stay local. So they're going to stay around. They're going to stick around the house. He's going to do local technical college and get his IT certification. My daughter is going to go to local, like I guess extension part of from one of our state schools and get her teacher's license and teach dance as well at the school that she attends at. So it's like it's crazy because like both of them They're successful. They're doing great. Dad is having a hard time getting ready to let go.
Mm,
And what I'm really struggling with is how not to be so hyper focused on all of that that I just suck the good out of the last things.
I can see
mm,
you having a more difficult time than say I had, just because you got both of them doing it at the same time. Where
Yeah.
I've had, at no time were any of my kids in the same grade, though the oldest senior year was the youngest freshman year. So still all three were in the same school at the same time, and that was a thing. That,
Right.
but
And
still, I was
it's
able to
like,
still peel them off one at a time.
I know we're not going to be quote unquote empty nest, next fall, but like his best friend just went to, my son's best friend just went to a university hour and a half away. So there's like been change with that. It's just so weird. Like, like it will just hit me at random times how here are these, this kid that I used to hold you know, in my arms, and he's now, well, there's no way I could hold him in my arms, and he's gonna go do his own thing. And so it's this weird mixture of trying to hold on and trying to let go. Um,
Can I, can I offer an observation to you, Marty, as
yeah.
you're saying that? What I hear from you is two things, and I want to just encourage you to think about like how does that land with you, and maybe how we hold those two tensions at the same time, which is grief but pride,
Mm, yeah.
right? Is what I hear from you is a grief of things that are ending, but there's a pride in your voice about your children, and you are proud of them in that. And so I want to just encourage you to think about how you
Yeah.
honor those two things. To your point, I think what I hear from you is that you're very aware of like that as these moments, these opportunities, these things occur over the next little bit, getting closer to these final moments, these are things to celebrate and to be joyful of
Hmm.
and to be proud of for both for the children and for you and your wife, that like we have successfully got them there to this point, right? But also the opportunity that when those feelings come up, to acknowledge them, but like hold space for it, but allow yourself not to be consumed by those things, right?
Yeah. And I guess that's what I'm really struggling with, is this, like, I don't want to be like so focused on this is the last, this is the last, this is the last, and I miss
Hmm.
the goodness and the sweetness of what's going on. I mean, we have a lot to, like you said, I think this puts it in perspective, is we have a lot to be thankful for. Um, but I guess I say all this and I put all this out there to say, for those dads who are in our community who have gone through stuff like this, I would love to, like, just some advice. I would love some, how did you navigate that? I'm not looking for the book best practices or anything. Just like, how did you do it? That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Parenting, and just one of the things you said there, uh, parenting is the joy of firsts and the understanding that there will be lasts,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Everything comes to a lot. Like the last time you had to change a diaper, you weren't crying about that, you weren't upset about it, but
No.
it was the last time, right?
It's a
Last time
celebration.
they needed your help, tying their shoes. The last time they needed your help. You have experienced lasts before, right? And so just encouraged to think of like, what were those feelings like? But that's the journey of a parent, right? But the excitement part is now, what are the firsts that will occur for you in this space with them, right?
Yeah.
As they go on to this new exciting part of their life, what are the first things that you get to experience alongside with them as well?
Yeah.
In the chat, Michelle says, you are voicing what I believe just about every caring parent feels, the definition of bittersweet.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is bittersweet. That's for sure. That's for sure. Like, cause you, like, it's crazy too. Like, would think about what, like, I remember bringing my kids home, and one of the thoughts that I had at that time being, when they graduate, I will be 45 years old, and here I am. And so there's a little bit of that with the kids. There's a little bit of, I think part of it too is like a little bit of like the realization of your own mortality of like, man, they're
Hmm.
adults now, you know? And what's that mean for me? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we jokingly say, oh, we're old, or whatever, but now we are like, I
Yeah.
mean, we're older. And there's it's like a turning of the page.
Yeah.
Like this chapter is closing.
It's interesting. I've been experiencing sort of a lot of the things that you've been experiencing as well, Marty. My oldest Rylan is going into grade 12 this year. As a matter of fact, she starts next week, right?
Mm,
She just got her license last week. She's literally driving now freely across the country, or well, across our province doing stuff. Um, it's interesting. And I was having a conversation with someone who was like a young parent recently. And the reflection of that you don't fully understand it and everybody tells you it, but you don't fully recognize it at the time. And when you do recognize it, it is far too late, which is it goes by so quickly, right? Like the idea
yeah.
of like, like, listen, as a new parent, you've got so many things going on. You're barely trying to survive. You don't remember the last time you ate a meal properly. There's spit up all over your shirt. There's poop stains up the back of a jumper, potentially. You're trying to get the kids out the door for Christmas. Your wife and you haven't had any time together forever, right? And you're just like, and everything feels so big and unbearable and just trying to survive. And then you blink and they're 18 and they're leaving. And so, like, I, I think as a parent on the backside of that, which is similar to where you are, Marty, it's the like my piece of advice or wisdom would be like, if you are a young parent, to just breathe, to accept what you have the moment, and be present in those moments
Mm-hmm.
because they are fleeting, and you don't know how many of those you have. Nothing is a guarantee in life, right? And I don't know, just something to think about as you move into that space as well.
Yeah, that's a good word, man. Like presence is and that's something that I've really thought about over the last like 3 years.
Mm,
We're coming up on 3 years of my dad being gone.
mm-hmm.
And presence is worth so much. Like it's so much more than we realize. Like, the things you value and the things you remember in the end, it's not all of the grand gestures, right? It's not all of the
Mm,
big things. It's like I miss the little things, like just that stuff. And so I think that just it's crazy, all of that hitting at once. It's a lot. And I've always kind of looked at this year, like this season of life, and seen it from the outside, like as a youth pastor. Like I've walked through this with countless parents. Like, we're preparing for your child to graduate, leave student ministry, graduate high school. How do we honor them? And now it's my kids, and I feel like I am can't keep my head above water. Like,
mm,
and also too, because there's a little bit of lament, I think, to it,
mm-hmm.
because there's also so many of those things that go along with that time period that my kids are not gonna get because of some of the choices we've made, like
Sure.
homeschool and different things like
Yeah.
that. So the day that they had the senior breakfast this year, and it's y'all, this is totally a Lexington, Tennessee thing that the seniors gather for breakfast on the first day of school, and then they get a police escort through town to school.
Mm,
And you can't, I mean, you can't do that like in Chicago, you can, but you can in a 7,500 person town. They literally stop traffic all ways, and they
Because what is
take
there,
them
like
to
30,
school.
30 to 50 students?
Oh no,
Uh,
no, there's
is
like that. I
there
think
more
the
than that?
graduating class this year is somewhere close to upper 250, two
Oh,
sixty,
wow.
maybe
You must have a
300.
wide area then, because
Yeah. Well, it's a county high school.
okay,
And so that's what it is. So, um, like, just being at the senior breakfast and seeing like here's, like some of my son's friends, but he's not there because he's not part of the school. And we asked,
Mm.
was like, well, do you want to go? He's like, no, I don't want to go. I don't go to that school. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I just wanted to give you the opportunity because the opportunity's there. But then, like, you know, we're not going to have a typical graduation. We won't do those things. And in fact, he graduates whatever he's done with school in December. And he's going to take a semester gap. He's just going to be like, I'm going to work and then we'll start in the fall. And I'm okay with that. But it's just, there's this transition and it's all at once. And anyway,
I
that's
think
just
one of the things I would think of.
headspace where I'm at.
No, you're great. I think it's great. I think one of the things I would think about when the comment about typical, right, is that like your experience that you have provided them is their reference, and that's
Yeah.
their typicalness. That's their reality of what you have provided for them. And so you're lamenting something that they don't know is a certain way because that's not something that they have an option for. So
Yeah,
the
that's true.
reality is like it is then up to you of like, this is the celebration we have for you, right? This is the thing that we are creating or that we're establishing for your graduation, because that is their normal. That is their reality, right? We are only comparing it as something different when we are looking across the fence at somebody else,
Yeah,
right? So
that's true.
something to
And
think about.
comparison is the thief of joy. I say that to a lot of
Correct.
times
Yeah, yeah,
to a lot of people,
yeah.
and I need to remember it.
And it doesn't sound
But
like it doesn't. And here's the thing: is it doesn't sound like something he's lamenting.
oh yeah,
You are,
no,
you are, right? And so if it's
oh
no bother, if
absolutely,
it's no bother to him, then should it be a bother to you,
no, no, that's right. All right,
So I
well,
don't
thank
know.
you for my therapy session. I appreciate it.
Timothy?
I was gonna say I don't know if Jesse, it's hard for you as it is hard for me. You had 3 kids that already went through this. I have 2 out of the 3. Sammy is a senior this year as well.
we have 4
So
graduates in the cast
yeah, so
this year.
yeah, um, and there was a 10-year gap between our first kid, our oldest. She graduated, and then 10 years later, obviously the Sophie, middle one, she graduated. And each kid was different too, and I'm trying to think back of how I felt. Like Chrissy, our oldest, she was the first one. And like I remember, like, and she's my step kid too, so I don't know if there's a difference with that as well, because I wasn't there when she was born. There were 6 years of her life I wasn't a part of, but still, when it was time for her to graduate high school and move on with her life, it was like all those emotions there, but I didn't know what to do with it at the time, and I was still learning on being a parent, even
Still,
though
you were still there for 12 of those 6 to
oh,
18 years.
a good
So
chunk of it, yeah.
yeah, just as my stepdaughter is in the same. We I started dating her
Yeah.
mom when she was around 5 or 6, and she she was the graduate year of 2020, so she didn't get the prom, she didn't get the
Oh, yeah,
graduation
yeah.
walk, so
Oh.
she's still a little
That's
butthurt
even
about that.
crazier then.
Yeah, but she does still consider me more of a father than her biological,
Okay.
based on, because I raised her, and you helped raise your stepdaughter as well.
Right. Yeah, and there was all these things going on at the time. She struggled with her last year, just like Sophie did actually. But it was like we all got past it together, and it was all like you said. I think Justin, it was like in the moment you're going through all this stuff, and in the blinking of an eye, all of a sudden it's gone. It's now you're going on to these new things, these new things of their adult life that you're helping them with. So there is that you help them through getting to the adult stage. Now it's the newness of the adult stage. and helping them through that and dealing with that too. Cause like Chrissy, she's got so much going on in her life. We hardly get to see her, but we always let her know, hey, we're here. We would love to see her more often, but it's just like, hey, we're here when you're ready. And I'm sure there will be a time when she's ready to come visit. And then our Sophie, she's 20, she's still living here, going to college, figuring out life and all that stuff. But the world has also changed. And that might be what you're worried about too, Marty, when you're thinking about all this stuff. The world has changed since you had to move on from, and all that kind of stuff. So there's all that to think of.
It's like my wife reminds me, she's like, you remember when you were 18 and you graduated? And I was like, barely. And, she's like, when you were having your graduation parties and you were going through your senior year, did you hang out with your parents much? And I was like, no. Because I know where she's going with this.
Yeah.
I know where she's going with this, right? And she's like, were you always at home? I was like, no.
Nope.
Did you, when you left for college, were you upset that you were leaving for college or were you excited? I was like, I'm excited. She's like, so think about how they feel.
Yeah.
Think about what they're going through and rejoice.
I like the way she spun it on you.
Well, she does that quite a lot. She's good at that.
It's all about the perspective and the lens that we look at.
It is. You're right.
Like
You're
even
right.
when people are like, oh, well, just getting on with their life. Their life has brought them to this point. This is not a beginning.
Yeah.
This is a new stage, a new element, right? You have provided them, hopefully in your time, the mastery, the tools, the ability to be successful. And the most important thing that you provide to them is the understanding that when you fall, when you stumble, when the world becomes a little bit too tough, there is a place you come back to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our oldest did that too. So
it's good.
Had to go figure things out and then had to move back in for a little bit just to right the ship and then go back out. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Give me a little space to vent. Now that that's done, let's talk about what we've been playing.
Let's do it.
Justin, we were gonna head to you first.
Super quick. Finishing off Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think I'm really close to being done. I think
what
maybe
level?
I don't know.
What sub-level?
Layer. What layer?
1500.
Oh yeah, it's about to get good.
Yeah,
like
okay.
Even better than it's been.
Well,
it's
this
about
one
to get real good.
For those, that's funny. I sent Marty this most cryptic message in Discord this week, which was, "I'm near a burger in Donkey Kong. Am I near done?" It was just a big. Yeah. So, having a great time with that still.
Justin, just to let you know, I did finish the game too. I beat it, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay, got it. So yeah, loving that. Continue to play. Love like getting new outfits. That's just a ton of fun. Just a joy. It's just a joy to play, right? And in some ways, it's very much. And I don't want it to end. That's why I asked Marty. I was like, "How far am I? Like, do I need to start really pacing myself or and like enjoying it?"
No, Justin, I'm gonna say this at where you're at. So like. In just a couple of sub layers, you're going to need a good block of time because you're not going to want to stop.
Yeah, I'm going to say every person I've heard who's finished the game says the same thing. Once you get to a point, you will not want to stop until you're done.
So, Justin, I did not know this. And I played until 4:00 in the morning because it just goes right into it so quickly, and you're just like, I can't stop. This is getting good and just crazy.
There's the tipping point where it all goes downhill, and I don't mean downhill bad. I'm like it's
actually downhill.
You don't want to stop. You're not gonna you're gonna you get yourself a beverage.
Strap
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've awesome. I would say you've probably got 2.5 hours left.
Okay. Fair play.
Yeah, I was worried about the last layer, and there's nothing to worry about because I saw something of how many layers that was, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take forever. No.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, you're good.
And again, and it's not for a desire of like, am I almost done this thing yet? But like, okay, like I feel like I want to really soak it in.
Yep.
The other game I've been playing off the side of my desk a little bit has been Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and that's a lot of fun. And if you like Ninja, it's just an absolute ton of fun to play. Playing on the Switch, my Switch OLED, interestingly enough. But man, just love playing that game. Those are fun games. That's all I've been playing.
Nice.
Good. Tim, what about you?
I've been playing both on my PlayStation and Nintendo. A couple of the classic games I like jumping into. Split Second is a racing game I've talked about before. It's on the capabilities of being able to stream on the PlayStation Plus Premium, I think. I also picked up Dangerous Driving and finally got to play that. That is from, I think, the original creative team or some of the members from the creative team who did Burnout. They created Dangerous Driving. That was supposed to come to the Switch and then just fell off the planet at some point. So I don't know what happened to that. But I've been playing that as well. And then Sword of the Sea, because I was reminded from John Blanco that it came out, and that was one on my list that I was like, oh yeah, because it's from the same developers as Journey. And Journey is my number 5 all-time favorite games list. So Sword of the Sea, I've been playing that. Fantastic, beautiful game. Where you're basically, it looks like a knight on a sword, kind of that Journey feel and look. And you surf on that sword. I think we've had other games where you've had to do that type of thing before too, but this one you're doing some surfing things. You gain points for some of the things you get to do with the surfing because you can actually kind of do some tricks with some of the waves. And you're basically on a journey to kind of, it seems, unlock the sands of deserts into oceans. And you're kind of learning about the lore of this world as you go along. So if you like Journey, you're on a PlayStation, I think, and you have PlayStation Plus, I believe you get this game as part of your PlayStation Plus. So I highly recommend Sword of the Sea to check that out. Also played a little more of Dragon Drive. Also to note too, if you played the demo version,
global test fire.
Yeah, the test fire one, you get an icon, which I've never seen Nintendo do before. You get a free icon, and my cat decided to just go in front of the computer. It's like, what are you doing, cat?
That's
Hello,
okay, cat. We're not doing anything.
Dragon Drive, I've been playing that, and I just wanted to mention about the icon. If you were part of that global test fire or whatever it was called, you get a free icon because you were part of it, which I thought I never seen Nintendo do before. So I thought that was interesting.
Where's our free icon for our play test
for that
other
thing, the play test,
the thing that we did,
right?
Thing that we can't talk about.
Maybe
it's
we'll get one.
just a weird question mark is what it is.
If there's an actual game that comes out, maybe we'll get one.
Yeah.
Mario Kart World, of course, more of that, more fun with that. I love that game. I think I think I mentioned this before as well. I think this is my most favorite Mario Kart game of all time.
Nice.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, as I mentioned, I beat that. And I'm with Marty on that 100%. And I think it's probably going to be my game of the year so far until Metroid Prime 4 comes out. And then we'll find out from there. And Above Snakes, I played that, and I think that our video for that came out today. That is a game where you it's a world builder.
You're above snakes.
And you're above snakes. But you're in like the Wild West in a way. And it's a survival game as well, where you are basically have to learn how to survive in this new world where people are being infected. And they call them lost souls, but they look like zombies essentially. And you have to help people, either save people and build camps and survive by, having an axe, building your tools, crafting. And it's actually done very well. I was surprised by how well this game went and played. It's actually pretty relaxing. It kind of has that Animal Crossing relaxing part of it, but a little bit of story to it and some fun with the zombie part, if you will, or the Lost Souls part, where you're going through unlocking, like I said, it's a world builder. So you're unlocking your world around you by putting in different tiles of types of land you can put around you. So you're building it the way you want to, essentially. And then when you build each tile, you gain more abilities with your crafting. And when you build more on your crafting, you get more tiles. So it's kind of building off of each other and pretty, like I said, relaxing game. I was, again, surprised by it. And I really hope, I don't think there's a demo for it. So I hope the publisher does a demo, because I think that would do very well for people to understand this game that way. Again, that's Above Snakes, world building survival game. Check it out if you're in that kind of stuff. And of course, what Marty mentioned before about the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, the open network test is this weekend. I downloaded it. I have it on my Switch. I'm ready to jump in. So I have that on deck to play. And that's what I've been playing.
Cool. Jesse, what about you?
I did but a little more than an hour, or just around an hour, live stream this weekend of Shantae Advanced Risky Revolution. I did play 2 smaller levels as a demo when we were at PAX, and kind of didn't really like what I played. But so in context, I was able to appreciate it a little bit more. So most of the Shantae games are kind of Castlevania-ish games, but still segmented in zones as opposed to being a continuous map. But it's like early on, you find a guy who is missing data a data cartridge that's been missing for 20 years as a joke to the history of the development of this game. But in a different zone, you find it, and then you have to go back to the original zone to return it to him, and then to see what happens. I don't know what happens yet. I haven't turned it in yet. I haven't played it since I played the demo. But I did play the first major world, and I got to that section's boss and died, and that's when I stopped streaming. It's one of the traditional multi-stage bosses, and I almost died just on the first stage, so I knew I didn't have a chance when it got to the second stage. So it's something I do want to get back to. One of the things I didn't like about the demo, but it made more sense in the bigger version of the level, is they had a concept of jumping into the background, and when you're in the background, things in the foreground, it didn't affect you, and vice versa. But since this is done in GBA-like graphics, the background layer kind of looks like it has a blue film over everything, and for it to tell. And one of the enemies actually will jump back and forth between layers, and that took me a while to realize what was going on with it. I think I don't know how many times it did damage to me. And there's the normal story mode. The graphics still look like GBA, but when it shows character sprites for the dialogues, they're in HD hand-drawn art. There is basically a GBA mode, which plays the same game where everything looks as if it would have been rendered on a GBA. I launched it just to see what it would look like. I didn't really play it, but I don't know if I will. I'm playing. I'll just stick with the normal story mode. Thanks to what Tim talked about last week, I did the Discounty demo, and I kind of like that. What's going on there?
Yeah, we can talk about this one too right now. I did the same thing, and I remember launching it yesterday and going, "Please don't be good," and then I was like, "Oh, it's really good."
Yeah, it was a kind of a weird story. You had to had to sell some rainbow fish stick thing that the company itself didn't think would sell, and actually made some jokes once you say, yeah, I sold them all. And so I did like it. I probably will buy this once I've cleared off more of my backlog, if I remember it's still there. But I do like, the pixely art style. It's almost HD 2D, but it's not. It's more like Super Nintendo style pixel art. But it's still really good. And they have a little character creator that isn't very inclusive. They can choose between 4 faces, and you want longer body or longer legs. And but for what it, but with how small the sprite will end up being in the grand scheme of things, it's enough. It's not like you're building a wrestler in a WWE game or something.
Right. I love the cash register mechanic too. Like having to stand in line and check people out.
I like the concept. I don't like some of its implementation. Like pushing the 0 is awkward. I just want to cursor down at the 0 instead. I have to hit LR, and then I would hit LR, and then I mean ZL, and then I would do ZR right away to register it. But I forgot to hit the A button, enter to.
Yeah. I run into
that
problem too. Yeah.
To register the 0 before it takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then I did pick up Is This Seat Taken? Which, we saw this in a direct, and I've heard a lot of people talking about it just as it's a cute little calm, relaxing logic puzzle type of game. What I didn't realize is this thing kind of got a little story going on. You start out at a bus stop going to a movie theater and then one of the characters that you're following is an aspiring actor who's in the shape of a rhombus, because all the characters are geometric shapes. And so he looks up to another actor who is also a rhombus, and he's looking forward to meeting him. And there's all this dialogue going back and forth between the characters. And when there are some levels where each stage has 4 sections. So an example would be on a bus. You're at the first stop. You arrange the people the way they want to be arranged, and then you go drive to the next stop. And then some of the bus riders will stay. Some of them will get off, and you don't have to worry about them anymore. And then there'll be more passengers you got to rearrange. And most of the time, once they're in their seats, you don't have to mess with them. But sometimes you still have to manipulate the people inside the bus to get them all to fit the way to make everyone happy before you move on. So then they're separated out by city. So the first city, there's a multiple bus and limo type of drives. Then there's a part where you're actually seating people in a theater to watch the movie, and then they're driving away again. And then once you finish all 5 stages in the city, it unlocks a challenge level, I guess you can call it, which only has 1 stage. But it did take a little bit longer for me to figure it out than the other stages. And then you can go on to the next city, where I think I've gotten 2 out of the 5 sections done. And I think there's only 5 cities total, so it isn't a large game. But it's small enough that I'm able to do it piecemeal whenever I have some, and I still, even if I only play for 15 or 20 minutes, I feel like I'm getting something accomplished. So this is kind of taking up my Picross that I normally have a Picross game I fall back on when I need something. I did finish Picross Records of the Shield Hero for my second time. The second time I've completed that game. So I'm hoping for another cross game to come out soon to take the place of Is This Taken for when I eventually finish that one. I did also start Morgan Metal Detective. It kind of felt like I was playing a Roblox game with how chunky those characters are. I kind of didn't like it. I liked the concept, and the gameplay is just it's hard to look at those characters. That art style is not great.
Yeah, that's fair.
If Roblox didn't exist, I probably would have a different opinion about it. But it's just that's just the first thing I thought of when I saw these things.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last game I want to talk about has a little bit of a funny story behind it. So most of the podcasts I listen to, I kind of listen to them as they come out. But one particular podcast kind of had a lower priority, and I would listen to new things in front of it, and so I would get further and further behind. But it's a Nintendo World Report or Radio Free Nintendo podcast. At one point, I was 11 months behind in listening to them, up to 9 months behind now. But every once in a while, they do what they retroactive, and since I'm in listening to the middle of November of 2024 episodes, they did basically a retrospective of the 20th anniversary of the DS. So for the next retrospective game, they wanted to pick a DS game. So they had a whole segment of nominating games and figuring the hosts and figuring out which game to play. And what they ended up, and then that episode will be recorded and played during the holidays so they could take a week off. So the game that they landed on was Professor Layton and the Curious Village, which is a game I've played before. I've played all the Layton games except for the Catriel one. I didn't like that and didn't get far in it. But I haven't played this game since it launched, over 15 years ago. So I started playing it again. I'm about an hour into it so far. I don't know if I'm just getting worse at solving puzzles. I don't remember. I'm having a hard time solving some of these things. Even this early on in the game. But I am having fun. The game definitely used stylus controls to the extreme. And it has taken a while to tap, 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 tap the screen instead of the button. But yeah, so that's a game I also want to continue playing through. I don't know if I'll play through the whole game or not. My last save file had about 11 hours of play on it, so it's not a long game. I think I had 129 puzzles solved. So far I have like 10 or 12 puzzles done, so I'm already like 10% through it. So that's everything I've been playing.
Marty, how about you?
Yeah, so level 5. Let's talk about another game that they've got out right now,
Yeah,
Fantasy
speaking of
Life
Layton.
I, The Girl Who Steals Time, which I picked up on Switch 2. I got the Switch 2 version of this game simply because I was in the mood for something that was kind of menial. And I thought, Life Simulator, that sounds great. And so the if you've played the DS version, the 3DS version, then you kind of know what to expect here. Except for this game is a way heavier on getting you into the main story as soon as you start. And the basic gist of it is you are an explorer's assistant and you are using this skeletal dragon to find an island that has all these secrets. And as you get close, you're attacked by a dragon. Your skeletal dragon ends up waking up from the wreckage or like the ruins of that that you've been carrying around with you, and you end up going back in time to that island 1,000 years in the past, where you find a job and you start solving problems for people, and that takes you from that island to the present where you can be as well, and then also into the future to another place called Ginormosia, which is a huge map that really is like you kind of have to have some skills built up before you do things there. But it's a little like Breath of the Wild in that you're running around and there's these towers with eyes on them and they see things and they'll help you, expand the map and different things like that. I wasn't having a whole lot of fun with it at first because what I didn't understand was that the mechanic of the game is for you to do it at your own pace. And so I chose the woodcutter life in the beginning, and I'm out there chopping down trees and doing stuff, and I kind of hit a point where I couldn't really do anything else in the main story because my character was still too weak. So it was like go back and choose another life. And so then you level that up and then you level so now I'm a paladin. And so now I'm like a soldier and I'm like taking out enemies and doing all kinds of stuff. And it's really changed the way I play the game. And I think that's part of it. Um, I think it's pretty hefty hours wise. I looked it up on how long to beat, and the main story is like 27 hours long. And so there's plenty to do. I'm probably going to put more hours into it than that because I've just been running around doing little side quests and things. But I've enjoyed what I've played of it now, and I'm only two lives in. So there's not like I guess what I'm trying to say is there's not a point where it's like okay you finished this life now pick another one. You're doing
You've got to do them
lots of different
interchangeably.
things concurrently. So you have to get a license to do it, and that kind of sidetracks you for a while. Because if you go get a new license for a life, you have to level it up so much before it will like let you go back to the main story. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're into it. I've also, like I said, played the discounty demo. I'll probably be getting that at some point as well. And then the other game I wanted to talk about is Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Starcross World. We got a code from Nintendo for this today. I was able to dive into probably about an hour of it, hour or two. This evening, I've got a video that's coming out, or it's already out on our channel, the very first level with the brand new mouthful transformation, which is the spring. I also finally I found the gear transformation or mouthful mode this evening, and that was really fun to play as. If you've played Kirby in the Forgotten Land, I just want you to know up front, this is just more. All right, like it's like there's not a whole lot here that's like super revolutionary. It's just more of a really good game. All right, and I would describe Kirby and the Forgotten Land is an excellent game. And you can definitely tell that there's been some graphical upgrades to it, even though it was already gorgeous on the Switch. This version is amazing looking, and I've always thought it was one of the best looking Switch games that was out there. And they've
Makes
just
food
made
look
it
good.
better. It's just made it even better. And the new stages, more importantly than anything, are fun to play. There's a lot of hidden stuff to find. There's a lot of nooks and crannies to search. There's a lot of great implementation of the different copy abilities and mouthful modes. And so what I read today was that it adds about 6 hours of content to the game to play through those new levels. And so it's definitely something that it's $20 upgrade if you don't get a code. So you want to kind of, judge for yourself. Is $20 worth 6 extra hours in this game? If you enjoyed the game, I think it is. I think it's well worth your time. But if you're out there and you've not played Kirby in the Forgotten Land, um, this is an $80 package. All right. I went and looked up the full on go buy it on a card. It's $80. I'm not sure that it's worth $80. And what I mean by that is like I would get the regular game first and see if it's for you. And then
Yeah,
I would
IGN said the same thing.
and here's the deal is because it's a 3D game, but it's a forced perspective 3D game. So you're not like able to turn the camera all the way around. So it's almost like a 3D-esque platformer in a way. It's never going to force you into any like weird angles where you can't see anything because the camera's fixed, but it does play some tricks on you, and that's how they're able to hide some secrets.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like there's some depth things that you have to work with. But I think this is one of my favorite games that Nintendo's put
Yeah.
out in the last 10
And
years.
also, no, don't forget that there are still the Nintendo vouchers available for
Yes.
two for 100. You can buy the Switch One version of the game for $50, quote unquote, and then if you like it, you can upgrade to the Switch Two version for
Yeah.
your $20 more.
Get the
And the thing
voucher
of-
for that, and then pick up Metro Prime 4.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the
or
thing-
Pokemon ZA.
Or
There's
ZA, yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of options for those still.
So I would say too that Kirby looks really cute on the surface, but if you've ever heard us talk about this on the show, there's some horrifying stuff in
Yes.
Kirby lore. Seriously. I mean, it's like eldritch horrors that Kirby defeats because he apparently has the power cosmic. And that
Well,
figures
the only reason
into
why
this
Kirby
story.
gets involved is that they damaged his cake.
Yes. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's because they ruined his meal. And now he's literally Nintendo's John Wick. You killed his dog or you ruined his cake, and now he's coming to take everything from you. And that's Kirby in the Forgotten Land. It's definitely worth a play if you've not played it at all.
So
Tim.
I didn't I played it, but I didn't complete the game, and I didn't even complete the first world. So what I found out is that because I wanted to experience the DLC or whatever you want to call it, or the upgraded version. So I had played it. I think I have actually the physical version. That's where I played it. I thought it was probably a download from a different account, but I have the physical version. So, but what I did was I bought the full version for the Switch 2 and continued where I left off from the first land, which is the in the neutral plains. So I still had to go to the Meteor Showers arrival area. No, I'm sorry, I didn't go there. The Alival Mall. A trip to the Alival Mall. I still had to go there and then also beat the boss there and all that kind of stuff. But when I finally beat that and I went back to the world that you're building or whatever for the people you're saving in
Waddle
those
Dees?
lands, the Waddle Dees things. And when you go back there, I did all the things there to catch up. And when I hit the star, it went up and did what you were showing everybody in your video, Marty, where it started doing the cutscene for the expansion story, the expanded story. So anybody who hasn't maybe has the game but maybe didn't play it as far, it unlocked the expansion story unlocks after at least you beat the first area, which is after you beat the neutral plains, then it'll
Rival.
unlock that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The neutral plains, once you beat all the neutral plains stuff and go on to the next or want to go on to the next land area, then it'll open up that expansion.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because when I updated the game and went into it, there was no clear directions about how to get to the DLC content.
Yeah.
Until I went to the actual map, I was like, well, maybe I've got to go to a certain point on the map or whatever.
Yes.
But I would recommend if you're listening and you've not played this game, finish the story, the original story, before you do the DLC. And then also finish the post game content because this game has post game content that you're going to want to finish because there's stuff that's referenced in the DLC that's for the regular game content. So that's you do it however you want to, but that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, when that area unlocked, it did open up the levels in the first area that I completed. It did open up the meteor shower areas, like meteor showers arrival. So that was point of arrival. Now it becomes meteor showers arrival, and then a trip to Alival Mall becomes Lost in Alival Mall. So you can start accessing the starry portion of the story, the star-crossed world part of the story, even in the first level. But yeah, as you said, Marty, it's probably wise to just go beat the regular story first.
And just from what I've seen so far, it looks like that there's going to be 2 star-crossed worlds per area. So, like in the very first, in the natural plains or whatever it's called, there's 2 levels that get star-crossed worlds, and then the next one in the desert sea area, or beach area, there's 2 that get star-crossed worlds, and then I just finished those, and I've gone to the carnival area, and my first one there has unlocked. So,
Yeah. For me,
um,
I'm choosing to do. I'm gonna do the area, unlock it, and then I'm gonna do both the star-cross world stuff, and then go on to the next area, and then beat
okay,
that area, and then do the 2 star-cross world stuff. That's what I'm gonna try out. You know,
cool,
who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind as I'm playing.
yeah,
But
yeah,
For
absolutely.
those who
Well, guys,
haven't played the original game yet, the demo for the Switch 1 version is still available.
cool. I forgot there was a demo. That's good way to try it out. Well, that's what we've been playing. Let's very quickly go to the community spotlights.
all right, we got a few questions that were left over from. We've asked some questions throughout the show, but there's a few left that we got from the community. Koopa Kid 80 asked, last generation we had Mario Kart Live Circuit, Ring Fit, Nintendo Labo, etc. Which one of these makes a return for Switch 2? And if none, what are some ideas the dads have for the big end to keep the wacky ideas and toys coming?
Hmm.
Do you guys think any of those will come back? Do you think we'll get a Ring Fit 2?
I think
So-
I think Ring Fit.
I'm thinking Ring Fit as well, and the new ring will have magnets for the Joy-Con to snap into for its tracking.
Yeah. Yeah, what I was going to say is I've been actually I didn't put this on the what I've been playing, but I've been diving back into the Welcome Tour game. And I think that they're going to do something else creative with the magnets that are attached to the system. That's going to make the tablet part of it magnetic with other things, because that's where the magnets actually are. So I could see, like, I know they filed a patent for like a click wheel controller, or things like that. So I think that we'll see some inventive attachments.
Oh
But
yeah, like
I
the Play
really
Date
don't,
type
yeah,
wheel.
like,
Yeah,
I
the
don't see them
crank.
returning to Labo. And the reason why is that a lot of those ended up in bargain bins, uh, toward the end of the Labo life cycle. But you never know.
I think a lot of them were used in schools too, so it could be
That's true.
if they do another type of, what is it called, STEM type
Yeah.
program with it. It could be used for schools as well. Probably a
Mhm.
few years down the road from that. But next question from Koopa Kid is, why is the summer almost over already? Do the dads have any interesting plans, events, vacations coming related or not for this fall season?
Well, see, the sun rises every day and stays in the sky for 12 hours, and then the moon does the same. And that's why summer's almost over, because that's happened about 90 times since the beginning of May to now. So seasons change.
Yes.
But a
I'm heading.
non-sarcastic answer is we're going to Disneyland in December.
Yeah, I'm heading to Ireland for 10 days in October, which will be great. So looking forward to that time together as a family.
No
Hmm.
specific plans here.
Yeah, I have a few weeks off still that I need to take off from work if I don't want to lose them, and they'll probably just be, getting more house related stuff.
Yep.
So
Nice.
not a really relaxing vacation, but
Exciting stuff for that answer that question.
Welcome to adulthood.
right.
Nert asks, what are each of your thoughts, feelings about Silksong, given the announcement 10 minutes ago when he asked this question? Are you planning a week off from work, or do you know what game that even is? Not judging, just curious.
I would say I am super excited for Silksong. I think regardless of like whether you played the original Hollow Knight or what your beliefs or thoughts on it, I think that Silksong has been a really, like, if you are a video game pundit or a fan or knowing the industry, it has been a major milestone event for the last like 7 years. Silksong is the indie GTA, is what it is right now, right? Like other games have to get out of the way. I don't know if there's any other game that has had this level of reverence and fervor around it. And it was interesting. I was reading an article from Jason Schreier, Bloomberg, I think it was, shortly after the announcement, and he talked to the developers, and like they're like, we're not even sending out early codes to PR because we had backers who backed us, and they're the ones who should be getting codes first. And and it's like a small team, right? There's like two full-time guys and a couple like a contractor or something. Um, this is a really unique and special event. I have only played a little bit of the original Hollow Knight. I am excited to jump into Silksong. I am very much caught up into the fever of it as well. And it's been such an amazing, like they have sold something like I think like 13 million copies of Hollow Knight, which is unbelievable.
Which is one reason why the game, they didn't feel that they had to rush this game because
there was no financial pressure.
With only a 3-person team, they had the money to take as long as they wanted.
Yeah, and I think like what we should really be like sitting in the moment about Hollow Knight is like, these are 3 individuals who created a game, took their time. It wasn't under turmoil. It wasn't misdirection. It wasn't mismanagement. They weren't under the pressures of some other publisher, developer, corporate overlord. It was, we are building what we want to build and it will be done when it is done. Right. And like, that is the lesson that the video game industry needs to understand and take when you see so many ballooned budgets of AAA games where teams are then slashed and destroyed, right? And lives are like scattered.
This game sold 10 million units and still lost money. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is, I think this is just an absolute tremendous moment. And I think, again, as a video game pundit, it's one of those moments of like, for the last 7 years, every chat, every Nintendo Direct, the ones we've been talking about for last year, surely Silksong's got to be here. Like all of these pieces, it has sort of permeated the zeitgeist of video gaming. And so I am super excited for launch date. I'm definitely going to be picking up and playing it. I don't know if I'm going to be very good at it, but I'm sucked into the fervor and the hype around it. And so I'm all in for sure. It is unfortunate that Star Wars Outlaws is also that day. And I did pre-order that game as well, so I may have to balance my time between those two. But 2 very different games. One I think will be amazing, and one, I mean, those are very different ideas, right? Like we have an indie developer who's done an amazing job, and we have a AAA publisher who has had some struggles.
Well, Outlaws is going to be a good story when you're ready to dive into the Star Wars, universe and play that story out. And then when you want to take a break, I think Silksong is going to be great to just jump into something fast and, furious. So
yeah, I'm trying to make sure I have Bananza done before I pick up before I move on to Silksong.
Definitely.
Sure.
You'll be done. You'll be done.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on Silksong?
Well, I'm not into this one. I didn't enjoy Hollow Knight.
I have no interest.
I know I'm in a minority there, but it was not for me. So,
but one thing that was brought up,
people are happy.
One thing that was brought up in the Discord is the original Kickstarter for the original Silksong. I mean, the original Hollow Knight in 2014 had
the Wii U.
Had a skull that for a Wii U version that never happened.
Yeah, that's an interesting challenge for sure. So.
I never got around to playing Hollow Knight, so even though it's a Metroidvania game, I never got around to playing it.
It is.
I think I tried it,
Metroid
and I'm like,
Dark Souls.
Yeah, I tried it, and I'm like, no, this is not a game that I want to play.
All right. Great question from Nert. Good question. Zablanc asks, let's say Nintendo is announcing a new Switch 2 upgrade path for one of their first-party games tomorrow. What game would you want it to be and why?
Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Smash.
Animal Crossing was mine.
Animal Crossing, and I want it the Walking Dead's version of it.
I was gonna say building a little more lines of Animal
Night of the Living
Crossing.
Gyroids. I've said it forever.
Yeah, that would be an awesome Halloween upgrade, and along with the Switch 2, wouldn't it be? I like that idea. I'm gonna stick with that one. But I was gonna
The
say like,
HDR going and
yeah, I was gonna say like if they added another island that you could go to as well, as
Yeah.
part of as part of it. But yeah,
Did you all
Or
see the
even-
Animal
Crossing.
Crossing Crocs?
My second family.
yes,
no.
yes, my wife actually looked at them, but didn't want to get them. She got another pair, but she got the gibbets that you can get for Animal Crossing gibbets to put on them
Nice.
on her new Crocs.
Nice.
I'd probably answer Pikmin 4.
Ooh, good
Okay.
call.
That one is a game I probably will replay once it gets the Switch 2 update.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's why I jumped into the Kirby in the Forgotten Land, is because I didn't finish it. I didn't get very far in it, and when they came out the Switch 2 edition, I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and
So
unlike Mario Party, where the Switch 1, the original game did not get any update at all, Kirby's base game is at least getting a bump up.
yeah.
With if you buy the upgrade.
Yep. All right. Next question from Darth Platypus. You've been tasked with coming up with the next round of products in the Hello Mario line. What are you going to pitch to introduce Nintendo IP to toddlers?
I've thought about this, and here it is. I currently have a preschool nephew who is obsessed with the show Bat Wheels. Do you know what Bat Wheels is?
No.
It is the DC universe as cars.
Oh no.
Batman's a car, Wonder Woman's a car, all that. So here it is, Mario Karts. All the characters from Mario except their cars, and they race daily. They have like every episode is like a race to see who wins, and they're all karts.
I would play that game too. If it becomes a game, I would play that.
Saying there it is. It's sitting right in front of them. Mario Karts.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah.
Mario wheels.
All right. Anything else from you guys?
I haven't really followed what is involved with this Hello Mario line. Apparently, there's a Switch game now with it. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. But the first thing I thought of is, we need something with Tingle in it.
Okay. That makes sense. All right.
Tingle's kindergarten.
I
Yeah.
cannot think of anything toddler-esque for Mario. So, good ideas, guys. JD Phoenix asked thoughts on the. Oh, we already asked that. We already got through the
Yep.
Pokemon one, and then David Baleka asked, I recently was listening to the podcast questioning the thought process for Nintendo deciding to ask Sakurai to work on Kirby Air Riders, and if that was a good decision since MK would already exist on Switch 2. I believe the sales of MK8 Deluxe led Nintendo to believe sales for another racer would be strong, especially if made by Sakurai given his history. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think they're letting him make this game so he'll make Smash.
Okay.
I think that's really what's going on. But I've never played the original Air Ride, so I don't know how different it is from a kart racer. But if it's different enough, I can't see why that the two games can't coexist together. In fact, it might make an interesting crossover.
It's pretty different.
I think there's a big enough difference because I played when we had Kirby Air Ride and Double Dash on the GameCube. We played both in our house different times, and we had both. So, and that was just a regular, normal Nintendo family house. So I wasn't doing any podcasts at the time. So it was like we had both games because we enjoyed playing both, and they played differently. Sometimes I think we played Air Ride more than we played Double Dash, but we played both. So I think it can be done. All right. Next question from the chat. Duckwing Dork said, first time viewer won me over with the wrestling talk. Who's your favorite male and female AEW talents?
I've got an answer for you. It's unfortunately right now it's Will Ospreay. Will's hurt. He's got to go have legit surgery, and it broke my heart, man. That they did this video package for him right before his match at Forbidden Door this past weekend, and it got me. It was like his wife was talking, like reading a letter that she had written to him, and it just, like, yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, on the women's side, that's a hard choice because right now there's so many women over there who are killing it. But I think the most underrated and my favorite, like every match is good as Willow Nightingale. So good. It's just, yeah. But, 9 belts Monet is not bad either right now. One of their women's champions right now literally has 9 championships. It's fantastic. She comes out with all of
Simultaneously?
them. Oh yeah, yeah. It's from all kinds of different promotions because they let
Oh,
their
wow.
wrestlers wrestle all over the place, and it's so good.
Awesome.
So this past week, the episode, and this is just a little deep lore here for somebody. Do you guys remember ECW?
Yeah.
Extreme Championship Wrestling. So their Wednesday night show this week was from the 2300 hall where they used to film ECW all the time. It's like maybe you could put like maybe 1,000 people in there. It was nuts. It was so good. The crowd was so loud that they couldn't hear themselves in the ring. It was just
That's crazy.
bonkers.
That sounds bonkers.
Worth a watch. It's worth a watch. One of the best post pay-per-view shows they've ever done.
Okay.
Good stuff. I'm saying this right. Duckwing Dork. I would love to know who your favorites are. Hit me up.
Nice.
Send me an email. Go to nintendodads.org. Send us an email. nintendodads@gmail.com. I'd love to know.
The last question we have came from after you guys did the Linkin Park episode.
Okay.
The Ad Noob 63. Serious question. Why is there so much negativity towards Nintendo nowadays?
That's a whole podcast episode.
It's not nowadays. It's always been there. It's
Nintendo is doomed. Nintendo is doomed.
Right.
I think that right now there's a trendiness element to it. I think that
game key
like
cards
a lot
are a
of
big
things,
factor, I think.
Game key cards are a huge factor, and I think that people are have realized that online, especially on X, if you publish a negative take and you have monetized your account and you trigger the right keyword, you get money. And so it's like profitable to troll, right? I do think they've made some interesting / poor choices, but I don't think it's anywhere near the level of hate that they're.
Let's be honest.
I don't think
has any of the game manufacturers made good choices all year?
I want to know, why did we not see the blowback against Sony for their recent price increase on the PS5 like we saw on the price increase for the Switch?
Because they're blaming it on the Orange Man, and that's topical.
Yeah.
Well, they blame the other. I mean,
and Nintendo took all the heat being the first ones to do it. So Nintendo took all the heat.
Right. Yeah. So
That
they took the brunt of it. And also I think too, because it's Nintendo doesn't ever really do that. Right.
Yes. That factor as
So
well.
it's easy to be critical when things are successful or when things are really bad. It's where it's hard to be critical is when you're just kind of sitting in the pocket in the middle of the road and you're just churning along. And that's what a lot of people did for Switch life cycle is Nintendo was just kind of built plowing their own lane and succeeding. So I don't know. I mean,
and I think that's where some of it, not all of the negativity, but I think some of that negativity is coming from fans, maybe like us, who are a little frustrated with some of the choices that Nintendo appears to be making that aren't in the way that we think they should be going. And so that some of that negativity comes from that. Because I know I've been negative about how it appears to me the choices Nintendo is making. And it's scary for me because I want Nintendo to blow it out of the water and just be like, I don't want the trend to continue that their sequel devices don't sell as well as their first devices. I want this to blow the Switch out of the water, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And I agree with you, partly because I am, full transparency. I am an investor. I have some stock in it. I know a few of the other people in the community also have stock in it. Yeah, I don't have a lot. It's not like I've got, thousands of shares involved. But
Stop, Jesse. Nintendo dads are part owner of Nintendo. That's why we're Nintendo dads, right?
But still, it's I can say that since I bought the stock, it has doubled in value.
That's good. Yeah. Solid investment.
Yes. And that was our last question.
That is episode 542. I can't get it right. 542. Thanks for hanging with us for this ultra edition of Nintendo Dad's podcast. We're back to form this week. And as we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers. That's Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, and an anonymous Patreon producer, as well as our 100+ other patrons, 21+ Twitch subscribers, over 1,400, close to 1,500 Twitch followers, and nearly 8,200 YouTube subscribers. You guys are the real MVPs. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. If you listen, if you promote the show, if you've ever told somebody about it, thank you so much. We would not be here if it weren't for our fans and our friends. So thank you so much. Go to our website at nintendodads.org to check out a list of our family of podcasts and other recommended podcasts like Star Wars Dads, Mega Dads, Dad Crossing, Retro Logic, and their family of podcasts. All our YouTube videos and tweets, links to our social media, Patreon, and Extra Life pages, and our merch, of course. And speaking of merch, treat yourself over at manscaped.com, where you can get 15% off your order by using the codes NINDADS. That's NINDADS. You get a little treat for you. We get a little treat too. It helps us out. Manscaped.com. Use the code NINDADS. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. We'll play it on the show. Everybody will get to hear your voice. It'll be great. We'll answer your question, all that good stuff. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music we use throughout the show. And a reminder, wherever you download us in your favorite podcatcher of choice, if they have the ability for 5-star reviews or written reviews, please leave us one. Tell people why you love the show. Give us 5 stars. It pushes us up the charts, helps more people find the show, and you will get a treat. It won't be from us because we don't really know how to send it to you. But the next thing that you get that's good in life, you can say, yeah, I got that because I left that review and gave Nintendo Dads 5 stars. It's a little treat from the universe just for you, from us. But if it's something bad, then don't blame it on us because we didn't do it. Anyway, for me, for Jesse, for Tim, for Justin, this has been episode 542. Thanks for hanging with us again. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Well done. Here come the test results. You are a horrible person. That's what it says.